Shalom. And I want to start off by giving all the praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Wachach, Wodash. Double honors to my teachers, the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and salutations to you, Akim, that's out there listening, pushing for this word with truth and sincerity, and your few Akwat as well, that's listening with sincerity. All right, today, just coming back at you guys through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Do not be a hypocrite, okay? Don't be a hypocrite. All right, and we're going to look up the word hypocrite and what it means. And when I'm saying do not be a hypocrite, pertaining to when it comes to teaching this word, okay? When you're teaching this word, the words that you say, you got to put them in practice yourself, okay? If you're not doing that, then you're being a hypocrite, okay? You know, you can't be out there, saying don't steal, don't commit adultery, or basically the things that the Bibles tell us not to do. You're saying it with your mouth. You're telling the others not to do it. But here it is, you yourself, you're doing those things. Okay, that means what? You're being a hypocrite. Okay? Before we start, let's look up the word hypocrite and the etymology online. All right? Hypocrite. All right, so this is the word hypocrite. In the etymology online, it says false pretender to virtue or religion. You see, you're a false pretender. Okay, there's a reason why Yahweh Shai, when he was in the scene 2,000 years ago, he called those wicked scribes and Pharisees hypocrites. Okay, because what? They were giving burdens. You know what? Let's get that precept. Okay, let's get that precept. No, let's go into KJV and look it up. That's why heavy burdens, because that's what they were doing. Okay, they were telling the masses, their followers, yo, don't do this, don't do that. And then them themselves, they weren't doing those things. Okay, the things that they were prescribing others to do, they were not doing it. Okay, that's why Yahweh Shai cursed them out. Right? So let's get this, let's go now in the blue letter. We got it. So this is the book of Matthew. All right, the 23rd chapter. We're gonna start at the first verse. All right, just to back up the definition of hypocrite. Okay, because Yahweh Shai, he called those wicked scribes and Pharisees hypocrites. Okay, and we read the definitions of false pretender to virtue or religion. They're false pretenders. They were making the outward cup clean, but inside it was full of dead men's bones. Okay, so let's read Matthew 23 and verse 1. It says, Then spake Yahweh Shai to the multitude and to his disciples, saying, The scribes and Pharisees sit in Moses' seat. Yeah, in other words, when Yahweh Shai, he's basically saying during the leadership position. Okay, sitting in Moses' seat, that means, Moses what? He was telling the congregation of Israel on what to do pertaining to the Lord's will, because he received the instructions from the Lord to tell the nation of Israel. So in other words, those scribes and Pharisees during Moses' seat, they were the leaders, you may say, of the nation of Israel, quote, quote, right? It says, well, if you read it in NLT, verse 2, it tells you what? The teachers of religious law and the Pharisees are the official interpreters of the law of Moses. You see, they're the official interpreters of the law of Moses. In other words, they're the ones that says, hey, according to the Bible, you're not supposed to do this, you're supposed to do that. Okay, they're the ones that prescribe how the Lord wants his way to be done on earth. Okay, how men are supposed to live according to his laws, statutes, and commandments, especially the nation of Israel. Because those laws, statutes, and commandments they were giving to us, okay, for our wisdom and knowledge and understanding in the sight of these nations. Right? So back to the KJV, verse 3. It says, All therefore whatsoever they bid you observe. Salaki, let's read it again. It says, All therefore whatsoever they bid you observe, that observe and do. But do not ye after their works, for they say and do not. Right? They're being pretenders of virtue or religion. Because what? They say for you to do this, but they're not doing it. That's why Yahushua said, okay, they tell you to do this, do it, observe it, but don't do what they do. Don't go in and follow their example. Okay, don't tell another man, or don't sleep with don't sleep with another man's wife, right? And here it is, you yourself, you're doing that. Okay, that's just an example, right? You're telling a person don't steal, and here it is, you're stealing. That makes you a hypocrite. Okay, a pretender. All right, that's what Yahushua told them. Yeah, they're gonna tell you to do this. Okay, observe it. Okay, do what they tell you to do, but don't follow after their manners. Okay, don't follow their example. You see? Let's read it in the NLT. It says, verse 3, Matthew 23 and verse 3 in the NLT. It says, so practice and obey whatever they tell you. Like I just stated, right? It says, but don't follow their example. You see that? Do not follow their example. Do what they tell you to do, but don't follow their example. For they don't practice what they teach. Come on, man. Right? They do not practice what they preach. In other words, they're a hypocrite. That's why before I started the lesson, I said what? Don't be a hypocrite. Okay? Don't be teaching this, that, the third. Okay? Making yourself basically, look like you're floating or whatever. All right? And here it is, all those things that you're telling your fellow listeners not to do, you're doing them. Okay? Don't be like these wicked scribes and Pharisees, man. All right? Verse 4 in the KJV, it says, for they bind heavy burdens and grievous to be borne, and lay them on man's shoulders, but they themselves will not move them with one of their fingers. Shit. Man. You see that, man? And if you're a leader, that's not how you're supposed to lead your congregation, man. They're supposed to follow after your example. Here it is, you're putting a bad example for them. Okay? That's why, hey, the Lord says, he's against the wicked leaders of our people, because they're causing the nation of Israel to err. Okay? That's why, if you have the eyes solved, you're going to see the proper leaders. You're going to see the proper teachers that the Lord has set in place for you to follow. Because themselves, the true teachers that the Lord set in place, they're not hypocrites, man. Okay? Our apostles and elders on down, they're not hypocrites. Okay? When they teach, when they tell you, yo, don't do this, don't do that, it's based upon their experiences that they've been through and applying that precept themselves, or whatever that they're telling you not to do, or whatever advice that they're giving, it's because they've been through it. They've applied it. Okay? They see how it works. And then now they're telling you, yo, hey, that's how you're supposed to go about this. Boom, 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 bam. Right? They're not going to tell you to do something and them themselves didn't do it. You see that? Yeah. Those wicked scribes and Pharisees, they were putting heavy burdens on the masses, and hey, they won't even lift it with one finger, man. Okay, and we're not supposed to follow after that example. We're not supposed to be hypocrites. Okay, that's why let's get this in Romans 2. Romans 2 tells you, Romans 2, and let's start at verse 21. It says, thou therefore which teachest another, teachest thou not thyself? Thou that preachest a man should not steal, dost thou steal? You see that? Okay? You that's teaching. You teach yourself first and foremost. Okay? That's why, I speak for myself. At certain times when I'm getting ready to do a particular lesson, I think, and ponder upon it and say, yo, okay, I'm about to make this lesson. Okay, so let's say if it's a lesson pertaining to, you giving advice, or, a matter that's like more based, you may say, upon your experiences, or based upon, let's say based upon your experiences, right? I sit first, I think about it, I'm like, yo, am I applying this? Am I doing this before I cut the camera on and make the lesson? Because I don't want to come as me being a hypocrite. Okay? You know? You got to make sure whatever that you're teaching, you're applying it to yourself first and foremost. Before you tell others, yo, don't do this, don't do that. Okay? Like the precept says, thou therefore which teachest another, teachest thou not thyself? Thou that preachest a man shall not steal. Does thou steal? Are you stealing? You're telling the next man not to steal. Are you stealing? Right? That's why scriptures say examine yourself. You got to examine yourself first. Don't be so quick to say, yo, don't do that, bro, brother. Hey, you're not supposed to do that, brother. Right? And then here it is, you have a big ass beam in your eye socket, right? And you're looking at the next spot that's in your brother's eye. Verse 22 says, thou that sayest a man shall not commit adultery, dost thou commit adultery? Thou that abhorrest idols, dost thou commit sacrilege? Thou that boastest thou that makest thy boast of the law, through breaking the law, dishonorest thou the Most High? Right? In other words, saying, yo, check yourself. Okay? Don't be so quick to, to judge the next man. And here it is, you yourself, you're not applying that judgment that, you're judging with. Okay? That's what the precept is basically saying, man. You're saying don't commit adultery. Are you committing adultery? Weren't you just last week? Last week you were just with another man's wife, and here it is now. You're all about, hey, yo, brother, don't commit adultery, brother. Right? These are just examples that I'm giving based upon the precepts, right? Okay. Hey, you're not supposed to commit sacrilege, right? You're supposed to be worshiping one God, right? And here it is, you were you were worshiping Beelzebub, and now you're coming being like, oh, yo, I don't do that, me. Right? We're not supposed to be like that. Okay? Do not be a hypocrite. All right? I want to get this too in the book of Matthew 7. All right? Because I made the mention about, about the beam in another man's eye and your eye while you're beholding the mote that is in your brother's eye. So let's get this in Matthew 7. We're going to start at verse 1. It says, judge not that ye be not judged. Okay? And that first precept there is not saying that you're not allowed to judge. It's just basically saying that before you judge, make sure that you're leaving yourself open for to be judged back. Okay? Before you judge something, make sure you're applying that judgment to yourself first. Okay? For you not to look like a hypocrite. Okay? Because what judgment you judge, that judgment is going to be meet with you. As the scriptures say. Oh, hey, I'm jumping the gun, man. It's the next verse. I'm jumping the gun. Verse 2, it says, for with what judgment ye judge, ye shall be judged. And with what measure you meet, it shall be measured unto you. It shall be measured to you again. Right? Basically what I just said earlier, man. Okay, before you judge a matter, before you're quick to judge the next man, right? Make sure that you yourself, you're not doing what he's doing. Okay? You got to examine yourself first. You got to see, yo, am I doing this? Right? Before you judge the matter. Verse 3 says, and why beholdest thou the mote that is in thy brother's eye, but considerest not the beam that is in thine own eye? Right? I quoted this precept earlier. Here it is, you're looking at the mote that's in your brother's eye, and you yourself, you haven't worked, you haven't even taken out the beam that's in your own eye. Right? Brother slips a little bit. You're quick, oh, yo, brother, you're going off, brother. But you yourself, you've been doing the same thing that he was doing. Okay? That's probably why he did it, because he seen you do it. Right? Yeah. Okay, verse 4, it says, or how wilt thou say to thy brother, let me pull out the mote that is in thine eye, and behold, a beam is in thine own eye. So basically, hey, you're not really a help. Because that brother's going to look at you like, come on, really, nigga? You're telling me not to do this? You were doing it too? That's why I'm doing it, because I saw you doing it. Right? Verse 5, it says, thou hypocrite. See? Thou hypocrite. Here goes that word again. Thou hypocrite. Okay? You're quick to point the finger. You're quick to say, yo, Shema. You know, yeah? You're quick to rebuke. Right? Yeah, I didn't mean to say Shema there. You know, I was just trying to, I forgot the Hebrew word for like, anywho, hey, Salakia. But yeah, you know, you're quick to say this, that, the third, but hey, you're not applying it yourself. Let's see what that word hypocrite says in the blue letter. It says, one who answers, an interpreter, an actor, stage player. You see, you're an actor. Okay? Right? And actors, what? They play a role. That's what they do. Basically, you're just playing a role. Okay? You're not really that person. You're just playing a role. You're being a pretender. Right? Hey, one of the definitions is pretender, right? It says a dissembler, pretender. You're being a pretender. Okay? You're faking the funk. All right? Don't be faking the funk, man. You see, don't be a pretender. You actually have to be that person. Okay, you have to be that person that does not steal, that does not commit adultery, that does not commit sacrilege, before you say to the next man not to do those things. And it goes for anything. It goes for anything. Okay? It says, that was pretty much the point on that, right? You know, take out the beam that is in your eye first, man, before you go in and try to look at the mote, all right, that's in the next man's eye, man. Do not be a hypocrite. Don't be a pretender, all right? Don't be an actor. You see, all the different words that came up for the definition, right? Oh, hey, I said stage actor earlier, hey. That's in the definitions in the etymology online too. Right? Stage actor, pretender, dissembler. Basically the same definition that was in the blue letter. Okay? A false pretender. All right? You know, that's why it's important to apply the things that you teach before you tell others. Okay? And I'm gonna close off with this precept in the Ecclesiasticus. Ecclesiasticus 37. All right, in verse 19 it says, there is one that is wise and teacheth many, and yet is unprofitable to himself. You see? You know, you could be the wisest man on earth. Yeah, you're quick to teach others, but hey, if you're not applying those teachings to yourself, then hey, you're not profitable to yourself. Okay, and we have to be profitable to ourselves. We have to, work on ourselves. All right? Before you go and try to, point out the flaws in another man. Okay, make sure those flaws are not in you. Right? Anyways, I'm going to close it off there by giving all the praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Wachach Chodesh. Hey, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. Until next time, I'm going to say Shalom.